just wanted to add this part to the video. I forgot to add it when I was initially viewing, but I just wanted to show you guys that like this isn't cap, by the way. So a little bit of credentials. I did do $198,567.63 last year. That's from January 1st to December 31st of 2023. I did $72,000 in sales on auction. The rest of my sales were fixed price. In the later half of the year, I sold a lot more items when I was doing the free shipping compared to when I was doing the paid shipping. I sold 7,965 items, has 7,200 buyers, and here's my categories. Women's shoes, athletic shoes, so on and so forth. I had a relatively lower ASP. And then, like I mentioned, I was paying a bunch of money in insertion fees. Last year, I paid $4,000 in insertion fees, not including the fees that they refund back to me when you do successfully sell an item. I did this for about 5-ish months of me running the auctions only. So a little bit under $1,000 a month, but my store subscription was 32,000. Woo, I'm saying this so wrong. $3,284. So actually, based off what I'm saying, if you add these two numbers together, about $7,000 over that 5 to 6 months. So it's a little bit over $1,000 a month, like I was mentioning. So, but yeah, like there it is. Hey guys, my name is Isaiah. I'm a six-figure shoe seller. My wife and I decided to create this series in order to document our journey as we ascend a ladder towards financial freedom. So today I wanted to make a video talking about how I made $198,567.63 last year on eBay, but I am massively disappointed in my performance. There are three ultimate reasons for why I feel disappointed, but it really all boils down to one, which is I feel like I massively by the way, if you guys are wondering why my daughter is here on the video and why the camera keeps shaking, it's because she's kicking it. And two, I would love for her to be able to like grow up and like look at this video and be like, hey, it's my dad holding me as a baby making a video talking about the business that he helped build or that he built, with my mom. So I think that'd be really cool. This is why she's here right now. But I gotta pull you up closer though. All right, so there's only one reason though, and I feel like I massively underutilized my potential. I could have done more. I should have done more, but I just wasn't close. My actual goal was to do about $240,000 last year, and instead, like I said, I did around 198,000, just shy of 200K. And there are several reasons for it, and we're going to dig into it. Number one is I basically experimented the entire year. For the first half of the year, I did auctions only for my business. So I was running an eBay business where I only did auction, like 7-day auctions for all of my items. I had about 100, 200 auctions going up every single day. And I felt that I would be able to move items faster if I was running an auction model. The whole goal for last year basically unintentionally ended up being how can I focus on selling more items without any regard for how much profit I'm making on those individual items. So at times in that business model, I was operating in the shoe category at a $4 profit, a $5 profit. And that business model fell apart once I realized my profit per item was hovering around $4.31. So I decided like, hey, we cannot do these auctions anymore. And the biggest problem with the auction model was that I was spending so much money on insertion fees, and I had to increase my store subscription size because when you have a premium store, you're paying 15 cents for your insertion fees. And I did the anchor store so I can get 10-cent fees, just so I can relist the items. So I was paying thousands of dollars a month on the store subscription in addition to getting it was not a thousands, it was like maybe like $1,100, $1,200 a month in order to get my listings put back up on the platform every week, as well as paying for my store subscription. So that's $1,100 in cash flow that I could have been putting in my pocket that I was spending on just running this auction model. And the biggest issue with the auction model was one, the prices. Like I was selling stuff for like $5, $10, $12, and I wasn't really making any money on that. But on top of that, I was in trouble if I ever fell asleep during my listing day. So basically, if, for example, you have auctions ending at 8 p.m. and for some reason you're asleep at 8 p.m. and you don't relist them, that means next Tuesday you have no listings going up. There's nothing going up because you didn't relist the auctions. And so what would end up happening is they inch to like 8:04 and then 8:10 and then 8:15. And then it'd be 9 o'clock when I have to relist auctions, and 10 and 11. And it would make it increasingly worse for me when it came to how long I needed to stay awake just to get my auctions active so that I could be able to make money the next week. So I didn't really enjoy that model. I found that it made it made my business more difficult. And the second model that I tested out for the second half of the year did the exact same thing. And I just recently stopped that one, where I ran my entire business with free shipping. The number one shoe seller on eBay uses free shipping exclusively. So I was like, hey, let me give this a shot. I haven't done free shipping since I started on eBay, basically. And I've been doing paid shipping the whole time. So I switched over to free shipping, and I sold so much stuff. Like, it was ridiculous. My store went from 2,800 items to 2,000 items. I sold thousands of items. I was selling like 700, 800, 900 items a month. However, in the month of January, right now, I literally sold 66% more items, but made 3% less money. So I'm selling a bunch of stuff, but I ain't making no money. So even though my bills are paid, I'm able to do like what we need to do. And it was working, quotation marks around working. I just don't think the profitability is really there for me to be running a free shipping business model while also running best offer. So that's number one. Number two would be rampant inconsistency. Technically, I had this little lady last year, so it made it a bit more difficult to be consistent after she was born. But I just have this issue of whenever I'm feeling emotionally unwell, if I'm not like focused in the way of like if I'm feeling bad emotionally, I find it really, really difficult to do my work. And a lot of those days I would skip. Or on my weekend days, let's say my friends would message me and be like, hey, you want to play League of Legends, or you want to, play a game on the Xbox or something, or whatever it was. Or let's say I wanted to watch anime with my wife. I wouldn't do my work like on those weekend days. So I'd end up missing like 2 days out of the week because I'm not listening on the weekends. And, I'm only 24 years old, and sometimes it feels like I don't get to be 24. So whenever I get one of those moments where I can relish in my age and like be a kid, for lack of a better term, like sometimes I push too far into that and I go, hey, let's go have fun. Let's go do this. And it causes me to miss some of the opportunities I could have had just simply by not missing those weekend days or experimenting less. I likely could have easily crossed the 200K mark at minimum, and maybe even hit my goal of about 250. And then I wanted to go into like, what did we learn? Um, Number one is I've probably become one of the best sellers on the platform when it comes to getting items sold. And I think it's finally time to overcome the thing that's been holding me back. The reason why I do all these experimentations, why I test so many things, is because I'm not consistent. I'm not a consistent lister. And if I can be a consistent lister and like fail forward of like, all right, we pulled together 7 days in a row. Maybe we can get to 14. Maybe we can get to 21. If we can do that, then I might find substantially more success than I was able to find with any of my experiments that I did last year. And then my second thing that's probably the most important thing for me that I learned last year, and it took the whole year to learn it. I know I'm boring. I'm sorry, Zai. You're out here yawning and stuff. um, the second lesson though was my business model is unique, and I didn't believe that. For a very, very long time, I thought I was the shoe seller that sold cheap shoes. My model isn't like I became the number one seller at my price point at some point in time last year, and I was like, whatever. I'm the number one seller selling cheap shoes. Who cares? And when it really comes down to it, like it couldn't be easy. There's no way it's easy, because if it was easy, everyone else would do it and have success. But I have coached so many people in the shoe category. I've seen so many people come into this category and try to do the more difficult version of my model, where you go like, hey, I'm going to try to sell 40, 50, $60 shoes, and they run out of cash flow. And then they try to do my model where you're selling, $25 to $35 everyday shoes, and they struggle with doing that one as well. So if my model was so easy to do, every single person would do it, and they would have a ton of success in the shoe category. But it's surprising, or not surprising, I guess, that I've been one of the few that can make this model work. So I shouldn't be like, hey, Isaiah, your model sucks, your business sucks, you're garbage, you're not good. And I know you should separate yourself from the business. And I shouldn't go like, oh man, my business is who I am, but like I built this and I care a lot about it. So when someone is saying like, hey Isaiah, this is the wrong way to do shoes, you shouldn't do it this way, like I take that as almost a personal attack to me, and it makes me feel like what I'm doing is not enough. But I'm finally getting to the point where I'm like, you know what you're doing is special. What you're doing is unique. You make excellent money doing it. You just need to do more of it and be consistent. And if I can accomplish that going into the next year, Hopefully I can do much more than $198,000, and instead, start to push towards 250, 300, so on and so forth. So thank you guys for listening to me. I greatly appreciate you. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace. I can't get her fingers to do it too, but see y'all later.